Okay, Pi. So the last video we were talking about how you arrived here at the age of 16.
Yes.
And on day one at 7 a.m. in the morning, you went straight to the olive farm to pick olives.
Yes.
And then, so what was the plan? What did they want for you?
Well, when it comes to this thing, as late the owner of the farm that we working on, that we were living, he said that I should go to school.
Mm-hmm.
So they took me to the high school, put me in the sophomore high school,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't talk. I had the last year I was in Portugal. I took English, so I could read and write,
Mm-hmm.
and I could understand what they're saying more or less. But I couldn't. The speaking part was terrible. So they put me in sophomore high school.
Okay, so you were 16,
16,
sophomore in high
high
school, just arrived in America.
Just arrived in America.
So it was October, so school year had already started.
Yeah.
So do you want to tell people how you learned to speak such good English
Well,
in high school? What was your secret with the teachers?
well, the secret was I took Spanish because it's first familiar with Portuguese. That way I could learn English. And also, I was back in the old country. I had spent 3 years in seminary, and I had 3 years of French. So I could just about talk French fluently.
Okay.
So I took French in high school to learn English.
So French.
To learn English.
French in American high school in 1959
59, yeah.
helped you, Portuguese immigrant, learn how
to speak English.
Wow. Do you want to explain to people how that worked for you?
Well, it was kind of kind of interesting for me. Myself, I enjoyed it. But when they introduced me to class, the teacher introduced me to the class. The first walk into the door and said, "Well, we got a new student, and he's taking learning English. He's just immigrated from Portugal." And so we're gonna give him the best we know how. So when he started talking to me in English, I was answering him back in French.
Oh yeah?
And the whole class kind of, I just think, what's he taking French? He already speaks it. But the reason was for me to practice more on the English part.
I see. So then as the year progressed?
As you progress, I just then a year later, the farming business in Loomis was kind of deteriorating a little bit. So my father decided to go to work in a dairy. So he went for a week to practice in the dairy in Elk Grove.
Mm-hmm.
And he got accepted, so we moved to Elk Grove to go to work in a dairy.
Okay.
And since we moved down there, my dad, well, now you're gonna have to quit school and work on the farm. And the boss, the owner of the dairy, his wife was a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and told my dad, no, what he's gonna do, he's gonna go to school. In the morning, before he goes to school, he's going to feed feed the trough for the cows when they come out of the milk barn, and then goes to school. And after school, I'm going to teach him how to irrigate the fields for the grass to grow for the cows, feed the cows,
Mm-hmm.
and also time to feed the calves.
Ah, okay.
So
what time did you get up in the morning?
I get up. My dad used to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I would get up about 7 o'clock, go do my job, fill up the trough with the hay
Mm-hmm.
for the cows, and then if I had a little chance to feed a couple calves, and then go to school, and then come from school, go work out in the fields.
Oh, okay. So did you work on the fields until the sun
and
went down?
And also he not only had the dairy, but he had cornfields,
Mm-hmm.
beans, tomatoes, and wheat. During the summer time, I'd get up about 5 o'clock in the morning, get out in the fields to irrigate the fields, and till be on the field until about 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Oh my gosh.
And I worked that during the summertime.
So from 5 a.m. to 8 or 9 p.m. every day in the summertime.
So, and the boss said, well, we just keep a list of how many hours you worked, and at the end of the month, just give me that piece of paper.
Do you remember how much you got paid for your work?
Well, we would, at the time, we were paying like about 75 cents an hour.
Wow. This is, was this like 1960?
1960, yes.
Yeah. So then this continued through high school?
Continued through high school, and then in the last year of, when I graduated high school in 1962, and I told my boss that I was going to go to some place where they talk nothing but English so I could learn the English properly.
Yeah.
So I told him I was, after all the harvest was done, I was going to join the Navy.
That's the stories everybody's dying to hear, but we're going to make a different video for them.
So I joined the Navy, and so so I went to the one day I went to the Navy recruiting office in Sacramento, and I told him that I wanted to join the Navy. So he asked me for my documentation. I showed my Portuguese passport, and at that time I come over, and he told me that he could not accept me unless I had a declaration of intention.
What is, you want to explain to the people what a declaration of
Declaration
intention?
That means you want to become an American citizen.
Okay.
So I asked him, where do I get those? And so just go down the hall to the immigration department and tell them you want the declaration of intention. So when I got there, I asked a lady who attended me, said, I'd like to have a declaration of intention. He asked me for my green card, so I showed him my green card, and she said, well, you're not been in this country long enough to get one. So I told her, well, that I was intending to join the Navy, and they told me that I needed that thing to get that to join the Navy. So all in that case, just wait a minute.
Oh, all of a sudden things
So
changed.
he told me that I need a photograph. So I said, where do I get one? He said, he told me, he directed me to get the photograph. I went to get the photograph, came back to the immigration department, told him, the immigration told him the story. And she went up to the back room and do all the papers. In about half an hour, they gave me the paper. I went back to the Navy recruiting office and said, you're welcome. You go for a recruiting.
Do you know?
You have to go to Oakland to the recruiting station to pass certain. You have to pass certain examinations there too.
Okay. Are they written or physical examinations?
Physical.
You did a physical in Oakland?
Physical and written, so you have to write a bunch of questions. I had to take my documentation with me.
So what month and year did you enlist in the U.S. Navy?
I went to, I think I was in January. I went to the immigration, to the Navy, and they told me that they would call me.
Okay.
So I was then I got an appointment to present myself in San Francisco on February the 7th, 1962.
The same year you graduated from high school?
1963.
Okay,
63.
So it was after high school. Yeah.
And so they sent up all the papers, and from there they sent me we took a bus from Sacramento to San Francisco. We got to San Francisco, got all the things done, and then they shipped me to San Diego to basic training.
How long were you in San Diego?
I was in San Diego for 3 months for basic training. And then from there I went to Washington, D.C.
We're going to talk about Washington, D.C. in a separate video.
Okay.
So for now, say goodbye to the folks, all
Bye.
right?
Bye.
We'll be back soon.